the Sports Betting Network.
The numbers told the story, they always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is a numbers game with Gil Alexander on VSiN.
Good Tuesday morning. Tune is a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, VSiN.com, Game Plus, iHeartRadio, YouTube TV, and of course, SiriusXM Channel 158. It's Gil Alexander. That right there is Kelly Bidlin, everybody. Producer number 9. So much more than a producer. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing fantastic.
I'm waiting for the morning where you get in here and you're like, well, not so good, Gil. Hasn't happened yet.
You know what? I was in a great mood yesterday, but I felt like I came off kind of crabby on the air yesterday.
Oh, the parlay thing?
Yeah, parlay things, Jurassic Park. There was multiple things. I was just kind of sour yesterday. I don't know why.
I feel like the parlay thing has some legs. People want to seize on that. Like, you're the anti-parlay guy now. In terms of just people sending in their parlays, you've had it with that.
Yeah, you can tweet me your parlays. I will rate them for you.
Yeah, yes. You're rating parlays. And then Jurassic Park, yeah, you got a little brushback on that on Twitter yesterday.
Yeah, which I'm very okay saying might be fair, Gil. It might be fair. I just, in my opinion, the film started off a bit slow. I kind of had somewhere that I had to get to. It was a classic movie.
They got to build the drama, man. The dinosaurs just can't show up minute one.
It's like classic movie theater thing, though. You're trying to plan out your evening, right? And I'm like, I think I could make this movie and then I was meeting up with people afterward. But the movie started at least 37 minutes after what time it says it's going to start because of the previews and everything.
Brutal.
So then I'm up against the clock already, and then it starts kind of slow, and I'm like, nah, I'm just getting out of here.
First world problems.
Very much.
By the way, you got the blonde thing happening here again. Feels like you're drooling, but you're not. Just
not
blonde,
drooling.
Just blonde streak. On the show today, AL East and Cy Young. We will revisit this. We'll do the Cy Young through the Tom Tango prism. Want to just sort of drive home what I was saying yesterday about I think Zach Wheeler's winning this NL Cy Young and people ought to bet it. We'll go through that and we'll give some quantitative reasoning why. Mark Borcher will join us to talk baseball as well. Paul Carr on soccer. You want some midweek action? We got you covered. Drew Dinsick talking Wimbledon and more. NFC West preview. We've been trying to do the NFC West for several days now. I think we'll finally get to it today. We're like, can we get to? Oh no, we got bumped again.
It's always interesting to see what hits the rundown for 3+ days. This is at least the third day. Yeah.
We'll get there. So I want to talk about that division because it is interesting, top to bottom, specifically the Niners and the Cardinals. The most interesting to me. And I want to start here though with Wimbledon. And what is going on right now at Wimbledon, Laura Siegemund, a 37-year-old German who topped the rankings at 27th in the world 9 years ago and is roughly around the 100th ranked women's tennis player in the world. By the way, we say that 100th ranked like, oh, she sucks at tennis, right? She's the 100th best tennis player in the world on the ladies' side. She's up a set on world number 1, Aryna Sabalenka, 6-4. It is on serve in set number 2. I want to get back to that because that's obviously perhaps some drama. And Taylor Swift, this is the quarterfinals. The business end of the tournament has begun this morning. And on the men's side, Taylor Fritz won the first 2 sets against Karen Khachanov as a big favorite, then sort of took the third set off. I'm not sure if he had an injury or not. Why are you smiling?
You said Taylor Swift at first.
Oh, did I say Taylor Swift? Taylor Fritz. Taylor, by the way, I don't know if you know this. Taylor Swift, great tennis player as well. Taylor Fritz, she just call him Joe Sorallo, and that way we'll avoid that problem. Yeah. Taylor Fritz up 2-1 on Karen Khachanov. Yesterday, and I want to sort of make this a sort of handicapping tale here. Yesterday, Jannik Sinner gets through to the quarterfinals by advancing past Grigor Dimitrov. This was probably the most watched thing in sports yesterday at the time because nothing else was really going on. Dimitrov up 2-0 against Sinner, and then he comes down with a pec injury, an injury to his pectoral muscle, and could not continue on serve in the third set. Now, Dimitrov, these are the last 5 majors. Ready for this? Pec muscle yesterday in Wimbledon. Thigh at this year's French Open, had to withdraw. Abductor muscle at the Aussie Open this year, had to withdraw. Last Slam, U.S. Open, groin and leg. Wimbledon last year, also with an injury. And there's 5 other slams, here 2022 Wimbledon, a thigh. 2021 U.S. Open, a foot. 2021 French Open, a back. 2012 Wimbledon, flu illness. 2009 Wimbledon, a knee injury. 10 slams that he has had to back out of due to injury. Now, I was texting with Jensen about this yesterday. So this is a tale of, being in your own head about handicapping too. So let's go back to the New Year's resolution. The New Year's resolution was, don't play grass tennis at all. And it's a 5-week season. Hard courts and clay are great. Grass is terrible because the data is not as robust, right? There's no, I do 1 year and 6 month data for hard courts and clay. You can't really do that for grass. You have to go back 2 years to get anything to even remotely approach anything meaningful. And I stayed out of it for a week and a half of the 5 weeks. I probably should have stayed out of it for 4.5 weeks, right? So going into Wimbledon, though, because I still go through the exercise, because I'm a tennis handicapper, I still go through the exercise of putting the data together. And Grigor Dimitrov's 2-year and 1-year grass data was better than everybody's. Alcaraz's, Sinner's, everybody's. But due to the history of injury and the fact that I have zero confidence in my grass numbers, as the results have shown match by match, not really macro, because Swiatek and Anisimova still there on the ladies' side, but I have no faith in them to the point where I didn't bet Dimitrov to beat Sinner, and he was $11 dog yesterday. So he's up 2 sets, by the way, the injury history as well, but he's up 2 sets, and then sadly he has to withdraw, and Sinner advances. Sinner, as all tennis players are, or at least most of them, as sportsmanlike and as classy as possible in the post-match. And, Dimitrov is tears coming down his face. It's just a horrible thing. But anyway, the point being that we're all human, and I have humility in the numbers as well, especially with grass. For God's sakes, again, I had a New Year's resolution not to play it at all. So this morning, again, with Laura Siegemund against Aryna Sabalenka. And right now, again, Siegemund up a set on serve in set number 2, about to be 3-3, I think. So I bet against Sabalenka with Raducanu 2 rounds ago. I bet against Sabalenka last round with Elise Mertens. Neither Raducanu or Mertens got even a set off of Sabalenka. It was competitive sets, but they didn't get a set off of her. And so this morning, again, with Siegemund, and then I bet Siegemund plus the games, and I bet over. Maybe both of these will hit here this morning. But if this was hard courts or clay, I would have totally bet Siegemund based on my numbers, again, just like I did on Raducanu and Mertens. But after getting beat on Raducanu and Mertens against Sabalenka, I simply, of lack of confidence in the numbers, didn't play Siegemund on the money line today. She was an $8 dog in this match. Did play the game line and the total. But it shows you with handicapping, all of that to say, it shows you that even those of us who model this stuff, you have to have some human. By the way, I don't know if Siegemund's going to win this or not. We don't know yet. But there's a human element to it. I am not as robotic, say, as like a Rufus is, who has fealty to his numbers no matter what. But when it comes to grass court tennis, both in the case of Sinner and Dimitrov. By the way, the Sinner-Dimitrov thing is interesting also from a grading perspective yesterday. This was the ultimate bad beat for some. So with tennis grading on matches, I know I'm kind of all over the place here, but with tennis grading on matches, some shops require matches to complete to their end. Any withdrawal or any stoppage prematurely, it's a refund. Other shops, William Hill Caesars, for instance, requires the entire match to be played out. Bookmaker offshore Pillar requires the entire match to be played out. DraftKings, FanDuel, MGM, it just requires 1 set to complete. And then no matter what happens after that, whoever advances is considered the winner. So you oftentimes have matches, I mean, we've been through all of them, right? Where, most, besides slams, it's all 2 out of 3 men's and women's, and you have matches that end prematurely, and it gets graded based on whatever shop you're betting on. And so there's a lot of times where someone wins the first set, a match stops, and if you had the winner of the first set, you end up winning the money for the match. You also end up having situations where, and it's usually, by the way, once in a while, right? It's always it's usually the person who won the first set. The opponent ends up withdrawing, right? Oh, it's not going my way. I got an injury. I got to stop.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, someone will be up and have to withdraw for like a legitimate reason. Yesterday was the rarest of all rare, which is in a slam, a best of 5 on the men's side, where someone was up 2-0 and they had to withdraw. Like, that's the ultimate. So people who bet, if they had the onions to bet Dimitrov on the money line yesterday, and they bet them at MGM, BetMGM or DK or FD, they end up losing the bet because Sinner advances, because one set was complete. And by the way, vice versa, if you bet Sinner money line, you end up getting the win at those shops because one set was complete. So that was the ultimate rarity yesterday.
Yeah, that's pretty tough. That's a rough beat to watch, and especially when you know. I mean, you're 2 sets in. Like, if he could have gone at all, he probably would, right? Like, he would have tried to have played that out, even if he was at 50%. But if you just can't go, you just can't go. That was tough to watch yesterday, man. It was a fascinating match. Sinner looked like he was on the ropes, and I wanted to ask you futures prices. Maybe we'll hit this on the other side, but man, books reacted big time to that yesterday in just 2 sets. I was a little surprised on how much longer Sinner got in the futures book.
Well, because you know why? Sinner also hurt his elbow in the first set. And we're kind of downplaying that as he heads to his quarterfinal match against Ben Shelton. Is that a thing or not a thing? If it's not a thing, he should absolutely still be where he is in the market. If it is a thing, and there seems some doubt, he said he's got some concern, then I get it. Coming back with baseball.
Derek, what's the guarantee? Derek?
Mike, time to make history.
Players in Circa Million make 5 picks against the spread each week with quarterly and full season payouts.
Circa Survivor entries choose one team each week with no point spread. The last one standing wins it all.
We have $21 million on the line. Are you in? Visit circasports.com for details.
So, Paulie, have you had a chance to read the VSiN Daily yet?
Yeah. Came in at 3 a.m. What's Bill doing up that late?
Well, rumor has it starts off with a 12-hour meditation session.
Then he just pours himself over film and live TV, really focusing and taking it all in. Bill's in with the biggest insiders, talking trade secrets, strategies, the whole 9, absorbing the info.
And then and only then can the writing process begin.
In Las Vegas, Bill's late night becomes your early morning. Wake up to the very latest betting insights in your inbox with the VSiN Daily. Sign up for free at vsin.com/newsletter.
On the next A Numbers Game, Drew Dinsick joins us, the host of not one but 2 podcasts, Deep Dive, and of course, NBC Sports Bet the Edge. What he's got left at Wimbledon today on the grass at SW19. We're in the quarterfinals, the business end of the tournament, what Drew's thoughts are on today's matches, and the tournament as a whole, men's and ladies' side. Plus, Mark Borchardt from an undisclosed location somewhere in the desert. We'll talk Major League Baseball trade deadline with him. That and more. NFC West in the NFL. It's A Numbers Game, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific, right here at VSiN.
Numbers Game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Want to bet smarter? Start with Smarter Insights. Right now, you can check out Greg Peterson's MLB Best Bets, Zach Cohen's Wimbledon picks, as well as Zach's early NBA season win total thoughts. And later today, you can check out Wes Reynolds' Scottish Open preview, Steve McKinnon's MLB Analytics report, and Tyler Shoemaker's WNBA Best Bets. Right now, you can sign up for a full VSiN Pro access until the Super Bowl for only $175. Head to VSiN.com/subscribe to sign up today. We get tweets at Beating the Book. Always appreciate it. Coach Brian, I just put pizza money on Siegemund to win Wimbledon at 20-1 in-game. She was 50-1 before the match and 30-1 at in-game when she was up 5-4 in set number 1. Except for the fact that just as I started talking about it, you know what happened? She's up 40-love in the sixth game of the second set. She gacks the game. And so now Sabalenka up a break in set number 2. World number 1 has something to say about this.
Get it together, Laura.
Imagine, but this is the thing about Wimbledon, right? She's 37 years old. She hasn't been in the top 30 in like 9 years. She's in the Wimbledon quarterfinals trying to beat the world number 1. It's awesome. This is from Vegas Regular. In your opinion, what should be the house rules for tennis? One set or full match or somewhere in between? I usually end up betting at full match shops, but there are situations where, like, if you feel like there might be an injury to the person you're fading, playing at one set graded shops is the way to go. So I kind of like that there's a variety.
Yeah, I was thinking about that as you were talking through it.
Yeah, there is a reason to play.
I was going to compare it to, like, betting golf markets, like the top 20s, like dead heat, undead heat, but it's not really the same. It's not really comparable. And, yeah, I don't know. It is interesting.
The numbers, guys. Morning, Gil and Kelly. So over the weekend, my son wanted to see Jurassic Park. Instead, I convinced him to see the re-released This Is Spinal Tap. Oh, wow. Kelly didn't miss much. We both agreed, worst movie we've ever seen. So wait, he went to see Spinal Tap. Is he talking about Spinal Tap, or are you talking about Jurassic Park? And then Brad Magnus.
I guess if he went and saw This Is Spinal Tap, he'd already seen that before.
Maybe, yes. Brad Magnus. Any Scottish Open best bet? I'm sitting behind you in the sportsbook before heading home after taking advantage of the all-in offer. There you go, Brad. The all-in circa offer, $400. Nice. $400 deal for 2 nights and $100 beverage, $100 food.
Let's see. I haven't made any of these yet, but the outright card is looking like it's going to be some combination of Ludwig, Matt Fitzpatrick, Sammy Burns, Robert McIntyre, and then the auto top 20 on Tommy Fleetwood, basically, at this point. And I'm going back to him, Gil. I haven't figured out exactly how I'm going to bet him yet, but old Max Grazerman, I'm going back to. He's going to be my long shot this week.
Come on, Maxie. Do your thing.
I had Shake Knapp rate out really well too, but I don't know that I can pull the trigger on that one.
By the way, I just want to point out Iga Swiatek 3 matches away from winning Wimbledon. Just want to point that out.
Let's go, Iga.
I'm just going to say it again. I said it last week. I've said it a million times. Going to win double digit slams. Going to be the greatest of all time. If she wins this tournament, oh boy, insufferable Gil. Of course, then I'll go on vacation, so you won't have to deal with me. Okay, can we talk about Cy Young? Let's start there. We'll save AL East for Borchard here. But let's talk with Cy Young. So I brought this up yesterday that in the American League, Tarek Skubal, sort of the justified favorite, and in the National League, Paul Skeens was still the favorite. Zach Wheeler was in plus money. And I'm making the case for Wheeler yesterday because Skeens clearly, and we saw this in his outing against the Mariners on Sunday, clearly on a pitch count now, and who could blame the Bucks, the Pittsburgh Pirates, because, hey man, they're not going anywhere. Why waste the kid's arm on a season that is destined for nothingness? So that was the point, and I just wanted to back that up today because we always rely on Tom Tango's Cy Young tracker, and I didn't warn you that there would be math on this, but let me just give you, again, the Tom Tango, what was it, 32 out of the last 38 Cy Youngs his formula has correctly predicted. 32 out of the last 38. And of the 6 that he didn't get right, 5 of them were the second place finisher ultimately.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Only once out of that, over those last 19 years, AL and NL, 38 of these, only once was there less than a second place finish, and that was 4th place some years ago. It was the Corbin Burns year. But anyway, 32 of 38 he has nailed since the year 2006. So his formula is very simple, and that's the thing. I always bring this up about the Spencer Strider year, where I thought I made a case for Spencer Strider. I wasn't the only one winning Cy Young in the National League because he had all these amazing advanced stats. He ended up blowing up a few starts at the end, so it wasn't an issue anyway. He wasn't even a finalist in the end. But anybody like myself, right? Like, it's like at some point you just have to realize, hey, we're not the voters. They're not thinking about the stuff we're thinking about. And Tom Tango's formula is, ready for this, Kelly? Innings pitched divided by 2 minus earned runs plus strikeouts divided by 10 plus wins. That's it. There's no fielding independent. There's no K rate. There's no BABIP. There's none of this stuff, right? So in the American League, I won't go through the specifics in the American League because it's a little more distant. Tarek Skubal's 56.8 when you do that, when you put all the numbers into that algebraic formula there. Tarek Skubal's at 56.8. Hunter Brown of the Astros is next in the Tango formula at 52.6. Crochet is third, 52.3. Then you see Fried and DeGrom as a distant fifth. Okay. Skubal, the justified favorite, according to Tango as well. And by the way, Tom Tango himself, when we did the last segment on this, he chimed in and he said he believes Skubal and Skeens are the real sustainable ones. But if you go to the National League now, and again, Wheeler plus, short plus money behind Skeens here. Here's the reason why I think you should also be betting Wheeler just from a quantitative standpoint using Tango's formula. All right. Wheeler is his number one with 53.8 points in the National League. 116 innings pitched, 26 earned runs yielded, 148 Ks, 9 wins. You could plug it into the formula above if you want, but I'll just do this for you, right? Skeens, 49.5 innings pitched, 49.5, pardon me, is his point total. So what's that? That's 4.3 points behind Wheeler. Why? Based on that formula. Same number of innings pitched thus far, but remember, based on what I was saying yesterday, that will probably now fade based on load management, based on a pitch count. 1 earned run less yielded than Wheeler, 1 earned run fewer yielded. But here's the deal, 23 fewer Ks and 5 fewer wins. Only 125 Ks, 4 wins as opposed to Wheeler's 9. That is why, based on Tango's formula, Wheeler is ahead. And ahead relatively convincingly, by the way. So again, as we juxtapose this against the betting market, this is a quantitative approach as to what I was sort of saying yesterday about the load management of Skeens ought to point you to Wheeler. Well, here's the Tango formula in numerical terms. This is why it should point you to Wheeler. By the way, 2 giants, Logan Webb, Robbie Ray, 3rd and 4th. And again, you can see why. In Logan Webb's case, it's because he's given up 35 earned runs, 10 more than Skeens, 9 more than Wheeler. That's why he's in 3rd. And in Robbie Ray's case, it's because he's pitched far fewer innings. He's also given up a bunch of runs, not quite a bunch of runs, all relatively speaking, based on this elite group, right? Not quite as many as Webb, but up in the Webb stratosphere. And then fewer Ks, which is funny to say about Robbie Ray because historically he's the K guy, but fewer Ks for Robbie Ray this year than Wheeler, Skeens, or Webb. So you can see why the formula stacks these up where they stack them up. So anyway, all of that to say, this is why the bet ought to be on Zach Wheeler, but it's especially that driven home by the fact that if the Bucks, and it appears that way now, if the Pittsburgh Pirates are going to limit Paul Skeens, this is not, Cy Young is not I said this yesterday, it's not a pace award, it's not a rate award. It has to do with counting stats, and the counting stats are built in to the Tom Tango formula. Wins, strikeouts, innings pitched. It has nothing to do with ERA, for instance. Earned runs, yes, as a counting stat, so I guess it does in some way, but you get the idea. It's really a simple formula that, again, has predicted 32 of the last 38 correctly in terms of where it ends up at the end of the year.
So I think the logical follow-up question to this is the number 4 name on that list, Robbie Ray. People are going to see 60-1 next to Robbie Ray and say, how live is he, Gil?
Nah, he's not very live.
Okay.
Not to me, he's not. And I'm a Giants guy. The thing with the Giants is Logan Webb, for whatever reason, and this is a quirk of Logan Webb, the Giants just historically don't give him any run support. So the wins, although he's gotten 9, it never seems to go into where it should with him. That would obviously help Logan Webb's case. And Robbie Ray, for again, as good as he is, he's just not as many innings pitched as those guys. And there's no reason to believe that gap will close.
I mean,
the strikeouts follow.
We talked about the Skeen stuff yesterday in innings going down. The strikeout differential was pretty shocking to see there, though.
Yeah, that's right. 23, a difference of 23 strikeouts, and that's the main part of that formula. Mark Borchardt on the AL East. And did you see the umpiring in this Phillies-Giants game last night? That's next.
And they're off.
Gear up for football season the sharp way with a VSiN Pro subscription. Right now, grab our football special for just $175. An early bird deal that gives you full VSiN access through the Super Bowl. That includes our NFL betting guide, loaded with team previews, power ratings, and season-long best bets. Plus, pro picks sent to your inbox daily, betting splits from DraftKings and Circa, live shows on the VSiN Watch app, and so much more. Don't wait. Sign up now at VSiN.com/subscribe and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
A numbers Game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Need a proxy? You can join the world's biggest football contest with one trip to Vegas anytime before the season starts. Trusted by thousands of players over the last 9 seasons, Winner's Circle Proxy Service helped clients win over $9.3 million the last 2 seasons. Learn more about using a trusted proxy service. Visit winnerscircleproxy.com/VSiN. Arina Sabalenka wins set number 2. She does so 6-2 after Siegemund won the first set 6-4. So they're going to the rubber match set, if you will, to determine who will advance in that quarterfinal on the ladies' side. Then on the men's side, Taylor Fritz up 2-1 on Karen Khachanov on serve right now in the 4th. But Taylor Fritz 2 points away. Is that what that says? Yeah, 2 points away from winning the match. Fritz and Shelton, the Americans, alive on the men's side. And on the ladies' side, Anisimova alive on the ladies' side. Was there a second one on the ladies' side that I'm forgetting, by the way?
I think that was it, right?
Navarro lost yesterday,
she
so
got
just
bounced.
Anisimova. Yeah, so 3 Americans left. We get tweets at Beating the Book. Always appreciate the feedback from everybody. This is from, let's see, Michael Burns. Got Ray at 65-1. Just grind, Robbie. There you go, to your point. Nathan Mallinson, regarding tennis betting, sometimes you can find the market player to advance to the next round. Yes, sometimes you can. Chris Heath. Okay, so two reviews in from a guy that left early because of timing and someone that reviewed a 40-year-old unrelated movie. Let me set the record straight. Best Jurassic since the original. A great way to cap off the greatest 4th of July weekend of all time. Fez voice, he says he did that in. So he loved it.
Okay.
And Chris Heath also makes the point.
That's all I've heard, too.
He says, I wish I knew where Robbie Ray was in the Tom Tango formula at this point in the season, the year he won the Cy Young. Great. That's a great point, too. Remember, it was Mark Borchard who joined us that year on July 31st when Robbie Ray was 100-1, and he said, bet Robbie Ray to win American League Cy Young, and he did. If only we had Mark Borchard available to us now. We do, courtesy of the Progressive Guest Line from an undisclosed location somewhere in the desert at BaseWinner, BaseWinner.com, host of the Bet US Baseball Show. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, Gil. Great timing because I'm going to play the Giants tonight. So,
there you go.
Yeah, he's really, Ray's numbers have been really good, especially recently. So I think that, the Giants really have scored well. They got Chapman back in the lineup. That really helped them out. I think that they're 3rd in the 5th in my offensive rating. So that really helped out. You get a guy like Chapman back in the lineup, and it really kind of increases all of the odds, future odds, that sort of thing.
Robbie Ray going up against Taijuan Walker at Oracle Park tonight. This has nothing to do, it does have everything to do with betting, because for anybody who had the Phillies yesterday or is a Phillies fan, so that part doesn't have to do with betting. But last night, I don't know if you caught this, but is it Phil Cuzzy? Is that how you pronounce his last name? Was behind home plate yesterday at Oracle in the Giants-Phillies game. Now, of course, I'm a Giants guy, right? I even had an in-game on the Giants, too, and it's such a luck box win because if you're a Phillies fan or a Phillies backer, you've got to be livid. This is what, to me, Mark, and I don't know what your feelings are on this, but it's the one thing, those of us who still love baseball, it's the one thing that we can never deny is when you have an umpire who just is messing up left and right and oftentimes seems to be favoring one team, it just sullies the game. Last night, 1-1 game late, I think it's the 8th inning, and Bryce Harper goes to an 0-2 count on 2 pitches that are not even close to the strike zone for the Giants. He ends up getting out. The next half of the inning, the Giants, it's a runner on first. I think it was Chapman, by the way, who was at the plate. There's 5 strikes in the at bat, but only 2 get called, right? or I think there were 2 foul balls, whatever it was. It was like he got struck out almost twice.
I like how you put that, because like strike 4.
Yeah.
I've heard the radio guys, that's strike 4, and then the guy strikes out.
I can't deny it. And then, of course, you know what happens. He ends up getting a base hit, runners on first and third. The Giants end up scoring and winning the game based on this, right? But it's just like you watch that game, and even as, again, the guy who benefited from it both as a fan and a bettor, you're just like, this is horrible. How often
It's so bad, and
Yeah.
Gil, sorry to cut you off, but this is where Major League Baseball misses and the NFL hits, because the NFL is really proactive. They have what do they call it? It's a very official NFL sounding name, the Competition Committee, right? They meet every year, and if there's a problem, they fix it. This is so easy to fix. You know, the technology is so good. Gallen made a pitch. It was called the ball, but it barely hit the lower. It was a great pitch. The lower right-hand corner of the outside part of the plate. And even if the guy's really the best umpire that's ever lived in the history of mankind, that's a tough call to make. You can't call it unless you go to replay. And they have the technology there. It worked in spring training. Just all right, let's make it work, right? Like they need to take a page out of the NFL book. They could call it it would be kind of like, remember the George Carlin thing where like baseball, they wear caps. Football, they wear helmets, so they could do like the competition committee, make it like a lighter name there.
Yeah.
So
All right, we have a few questions here before we get to your picks here. One, Banshees of Atlantic City on Twitter would love to hear Mr. Borchard, called you Mr. Borchard, by the way, Mark, Mr. Borchard's take on an American League Rookie of the Year. I'm not sure if you have thoughts on this, Mark. Roman Anthony, he says, had a brutal start to his career, but has been great the last few weeks. He's got a pedigree and is still upwards of 40-1 in some places. Can he catch Jacob Wilson, Cam Smith, etc.? Thoughts?
What's the pricing on that? The top 3 guys.
It's a great question.
I forgot that your Wi-Fi's out. So
yeah,
I think
go ahead. Kelly.
I think it's just for me the guy, Wilson just going to be hard to catch. All these awards are like really the leader to me. You look at Judge. People are trying to make a case for Raleigh. Like that's tough, but I don't know. The Rookie of the Year is like that's kind of outside of my realm. You know who's good to ask on that? Not me, Jason. He's really good at those rookies.
What are your numbers here? Jacob Wilson -150, Cam Smith +170, Roman Anthony 35-1.
Yeah, I'd almost just, you know how I am with laying the wood. I'd almost just lay the wood with Wilson, hope he doesn't get hurt and he wins it.
Yeah. By the way, Jack Caglianone. Anytime you're ready there, Jack, to start playing baseball.
There's a lot of people that bet on him.
Well, the interesting thing about these rookies is I like Lawler. They brought him up, and I think he's sombreroed every time and now they brought a guy up named Blaze Alexander for the Diamondbacks, and other than his name, it's like, wow, they're not bringing Lawler up again. I mean, that's how bad the guy was, and they were desperate a couple weeks ago, and they ended up bringing. Speaking of Jason, he'd probably like a guy named Blaze Alexander.
So they used to call me, Kelly. Blaze Alexander.
I was going to say that was his high school
for multiple reasons.
I'm surprised he didn't pick him for Rookie of the Year.
That guy was better on the grass.
All right, Mark. Mark. A couple other questions.
Kelly that was a good one. Kelly.
Zinger.
So what are we here for, Mark?
You got Mark's stamp of approval. We just went through NL Cy Young. Zach Wheeler, not the favorite. He's still in plus money. With the Skeens load management that appears to be taking place, is Wheeler the bet? Do you agree with that?
I like Wheeler. I don't really like Skeens. Skeens is like maybe 21st, and like Wheeler, base winner numbers is number 3, and the other 2 guys, base winner number 1 and number 2, are from the American League. So I would definitely go with Wheeler.
Okay, real quick, American League East, guys, if we could flash up this graphic right here. Toronto with a 3-game lead over the Yankees. Obviously, Tampa Bay, Boston, and Baltimore following suit. Baltimore not like the others in terms of competitive here. Strength of schedule, the Blue Jays have the easiest strength of schedule the rest of the way. To win the division, though, they're plus 135. Yankees are still shorter, plus 110. Rays 5-1, Red Sox 16-1. Is there a bet there? Still the Yankees?
The Yankees, for sure, it's not as good as it was last time, but a 56% chance to win that division. So that would make it like minus 127, and that's good. There's a big percentage spread like through the middle of those when the money line's closer to pick them, there's a bigger percentage there as you go. So the Yankees is probably the better play, and this is thinking that the lineups are going to be exactly the way they are. The team composition is going to be exactly the way it is. And I think the Yankees are probably, if you had to handicap Yankees versus Blue Jays, who's going to get better talent from a trade? And I would say it'd be the Yankees. So that's not even factored in there. That's just simulating the rest of the season.
That part, it's such a polluter of that handicap, whatever happens at the trade deadline. Okay, real quick, then we got 30 seconds. So you're on the Giants tonight? Yes, on the money line?
Yeah, base winner parlay, man. Texas and the Giants. And this Angels team, this is why I have the Angels shirt on, because they are awful. You can go to my expected standings, you can see how bad they are. But I'm going to play against this Angels team every time I can. Today, the numbers on the chart indicate a good play with the Angels. So Angels, Giants parlay pays 2-1.
Rangers Giants parlay. Yes?
Oh, I'm sorry. Rangers Giants. Thank you. Yes.
Rangers Giants parlay. Okay. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it. Soccer with Paul Carr.
Take it easy. Keep it blazing, guys.
As sports fans, we may cheer for different teams, but there's one thing that we can all agree on. We want the game to be big. And with 3 levels, 30 cabanas, a 143-foot screen, 6 clean pools, and endless cold drinks, it doesn't get any bigger or any better than Stadium Swim in Las Vegas. All sports, all seasons. It's more than a pool deck. Stadium Swim. It's the only thing like it in the world.
Starting July 14th, gear up for the football season with VSiN Training Camp Today. Live every morning at 10 a.m. Eastern. Hosted by Kelly Bidlin, Nick Whalen, and Jeff Erickson. With special guests throughout the week, VSiN Training Camp Today delivers sharp insights on season-long props, futures markets, fantasy draft prep, playoff picks, and more. VSiN Training Camp Today, all week. Starting July 14th at 10 a.m. Eastern. Powered by the experts at VSiN. The Sports Betting Network.
Numbers Game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Back on the Numbers Game live at Circa Resort Casino, downtown Las Vegas. Gil Alexander and Kelly Bidlin, everybody. What's going on with my shirt here? There we go. Sorry, ladies.
Sorry, ladies. I've enjoyed the past two breaks. Our guests have had to sit through us trying to set up your Wi-Fi.
Yeah, that's all right. We're managing.
Hey, you are.
Yeah.
Hey, you've used that thing as an easel multiple times over at the D.
It's always an easel.
So, yeah. We'll get through a show, no problem.
Tennis update, by the way, again. Sabalenka. Oh, Taylor Fritz does win, advance to the semifinals. Taylor Fritz is through. He wins a 4-set tiebreaker against Karen Khachanov. So Taylor Fritz, let's go. I don't know why I'm saying let's go. I don't have anything on him. But from an American standpoint. And then in set number 3, Sabalenka and Sigmund 1-1 on serve. So I don't want to say anything, but the good news is we'll probably go 2-0 on these Sigmund bets, but the drama continues. Let's see. Sigmund has to win one more game for us to go 2-0 here.
I'm still very confused on the flag thing. I know I was kind of joking about it before the show, but because why does ESPN.com have the flag on it, but then ESPN, who's televising the matches, chooses to go with...
Oh, you're talking about Sabalenka not having a flag displayed from the Ukraine war?
Yes, yeah. But then, ESPN.com has it.
Well, the whole thing has been awkward.
Yes,
right?
No, I'm not saying there is definitely a...
Because remember, initially, the Russian, and in the case of Sabalenka, Belarusian players were banned. Right, there was a period of time where they weren't allowed to play.
First, right?
Well, no, I'm just talking about the war stuff. The reason there are no flags is because of the Ukraine war. And so initially they were banned, and then they were allowed in. It's like, well, why do you allow them in? The war's still going on. It's a very strange thing. Still, you have players like Marta Kostyuk who won't shake hands with Russian players. So, but as far as your question about why .com versus the network,
the inconsistency is just odd to me.
You know who might know an answer to that question?
Let's throw this on him.
Maybe somebody who used to work at ESPN. Paul Carr joins us now from True Media Networks, and of course the host of the Expected Value podcast. Comes to us courtesy of the Progressive Line. You can follow him on Twitter at Paul Carr, Carr. Why, oh why, Paul, would the worldwide leader make such a distinction between online and broadcast?
I always enjoy being your Marshall McLuhan, Gil. Pulled straight out of line.
Thank you. Appreciate
to help
it.
out with your questions.
Yes.
My guess is generally the TV side is much more aligned with Wimbledon and how the tournament is doing things and the wishes of whatever they're covering. So my guess is that between them or the tennis tours or whatever. So my guess is that's a preference that they worked out with them, and .com is not as connected to that from a rights standpoint from just general interactions, and it didn't trickle down to them. Again, that's just my theory from my experience, but generally the TV side is just much more plugged into little intricacies like that, and it doesn't always get everywhere else in the company.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think that's a good answer.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Or the way I translate that also, your bubble cloud, basically ESPN's bubble cloud is saying we're just front facing so that they won't notice what we're doing online. Maybe is what it is.
Yeah. The number one thing, the most thing that's getting the most views, the eyeballs, etc., is the TV side, and so that gets the most attention.
Hey, before we get to your FIFA Club World Cup picks here or beyond, Mexico 2, United States of America 1. What was your reaction to that?
It was not a terrible. I wish the U.S. had played a little better, just had a little more of the ball, a couple more chances. It was kind of the B team for the U.S. We're talking maybe 4 at most of those guys would start a World Cup game if the U.S. had one tomorrow, assuming everyone's healthy, and Mexico had more or less their A team. So it wasn't a terrible showing. On the whole in the tournament, I kind of felt positive. A few guys took good steps forward and could contribute more or better to the World Cup team next year. So it was kind of a median expectations type of tournament. You got to the final as you should. You lost to Mexico, who's a little better than you. So a decent tournament on the whole. You'll hear some people are much more down than I am, but I came away generally optimistic.
Generally optimistic. Okay. The coach is the one who's going to catch most of the flack for this in the end, if this continues?
Yeah, he's an easy target just because he's a little more known. He did have some substitution questions, didn't make subs until super late in the game. Maybe could have called in some different players. There's some fair questions to ask of what he's done at the tournament.
Yeah. Okay, you went 2-0, I believe, last time you were on the show. Would you like to take a moment to brag to everybody?
Well, taking unders on Mexico worked out really well most of the tournament until the final, which Fortunately, I didn't have there. But yeah, and the other one was, PSG just to beat Bayern. And if you took a flyer on -1.5, that got there late at +325 or something with some chaotic ending of the game. So that one worked well too.
Okay, so we have 2 plays in the FIFA Club World Cup semifinals. You have one today, one tomorrow. This is how it's scheduled. Today it's Fluminense and Chelsea. What's the play here with Fluminense on the 3-way? +475.
Yeah, that is a very tempting number. I'm going to take the under 2.5. -135 is the price I got it at. Fluminense just has not been very potent offensively throughout the tournament. They have 8 goals, but only 4.5 expected goals. Very low quality shots throughout. So I expect them to try to keep this tight. Chelsea's, been decent offensively, but their numbers are a little bit inflated as well. So I think this is just a Fluminense trying to keep it tight. Chelsea doesn't quite have the break it open horses. We haven't seen them so far, missing one of their attackers, Liam Delap's out with a red card, or a couple yellow cards rather. So I think this is just going to be a fairly cagey, as we like to say in soccer, 1-0, 2-0 type of game. Maybe it goes to extra time at 1-1. So I like under 2.5 here. A little bit of juice at -135.
Under 2.5. You want some midweek soccer action, Kelly? You
I like
play the under here.
I was talking to old Benny Wilson yesterday too. He'll be on with us tomorrow, and he did say he was on. He was going to take a goal with Fluminense. So sounds like sort of in line with what Paul's talking about.
How you feel about that one, Paulie?
He's gonna play the Fluminense side.
Yeah, plus a goal.
Plus a goal.
Oh yeah, I don't. Without looking at the price, I don't mind that. Like I said, I think it's gonna be close. So blowout doesn't seem like it's in the cards here.
All right, tomorrow it's PSG and Real Madrid. Which way are you going?
Sticking with PSG. Again, this is similar to the Bayern take. PSG is the better team. They won Champions League. Most of that team is here. Real Madrid has new head coach. Xabi Alonso came from Bayer Leverkusen. They are looking better at times, but still adjusting to his system. Mostly PSG's defense has been really good because they've had the ball almost the whole time. They've had the highest possession in the tournament, only given up 1 goal, which is a little bit flattering, but still under 3 expected goals they've allowed throughout the tournament so far through, 6 games. Real Madrid has looked more or less like Real Madrid. Pretty good in attack, pretty leaky in defense. Their best defender, Dean Huijsen, suspended for this game with yellow cards. So that's going to be a problem. Kind of balances out PSG's suspended defenders as well. But PSG's just better, especially on the defensive side, holding on to the ball, controlling the game. Real Madrid wants to make this chaos, and PSG wants to just kind of settle things down and hold on to it and create their chances. So I think the better team wins here. +135, pretty good price for PSG to win. That's 90-minute bet, as always, not if it goes to extra time.
By the way, just some clarification. Is one today and one tomorrow, or both tomorrow?
One today, one tomorrow.
One today, one tomorrow.
Fluminense Chelsea today, yeah. PSG Real Madrid tomorrow.
All right, we had a little gaff here. Okay, so today, Fluminense Chelsea, under 2.5 goals. Always shop around for the juice. The less the better, obviously. And then tomorrow, PSG over Real Madrid. And I believe the headline to the handicap that I heard right there at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 noon was PSG just better. I like that, Paul.
Just better.
Just better.
This should be a fun one. It's Kylian Mbappe reunion tour of sorts. He came from PSG. They won Champions League once he left. Now he's on Real Madrid. So he's only played a little bit at the tournament, so I wouldn't expect him to start, although it's possible. But that'll be a headline in the build-up to it, is when he gets in the game, he's playing his former team, etc.
Hey, not to put you on the spot here, but the tragedy with the Liverpool player who died in a car accident. Would you like to sort of put that in our sports terms context, if you will?
Yeah, I mean, wasn't like the headline star, but he's a starter, so it'd be like I don't know, number 2 receiver type on a Super Bowl winning team.
Is his name again, Paul?
Dark.
His name?
Diogo Jota.
Yeah,
Diogo Jota. His brother as well is a lesser-known player. Portugal, but yeah, you're losing a Devontae Smith type if we want to be a little dark and put a name on it or something.
So sad. 28 years old.
Yeah.
Paul, thank you so much, man. Appreciate it as always.
You bet. Have a good one.
Paul Carr, everybody. Under today in the Fluminense Chelsea game, and PSG tomorrow on the side. By the way, interesting, going back to the Mark Borchard segment where he's like still bet on the Yankees, right? He's like still bet on the Yankees. Chris Felica.
I'm good, by the way.
What's that?
I'm good. I checked my bet size on -220 from last week. I'm good. I'm not adding.
Chris Felica would like to push back on that. Chris Felica, as you know, says Yankees missed the playoffs. He made a bet at 9-1. He disagrees. He said, I don't agree at all with Mark that the Yankees are certain to get better talent at the deadline than the Blue Jays. Toronto was all in for Shohei last year. They're willing to spend and have some guys in the farm system to trade. Yankees are run like a poverty franchise with Hal now. I love Yankees fans like Chris are like, oh, anything below George Steinbrenner is a poverty franchise. But I understand his overall point because you never know. You don't know about the trade deadline. You just don't know either way.
To be fair, though, Mark said he was making those numbers without
despite the trade deadline.
Yeah.
That's right. That's absolutely right. Drew Dinsick on the other side. Wimbledon and more. It's a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Introducing the $500 trifecta. Use your GBank Visa signature credit card within 3 months of account opening and deposit